Hello. It's PSYCHOCORE. The cracks in reality, a radical inquiry into existence. There exists a truth about your birth that no one ever disclosed to you. It's not something taught in classrooms or explained by your parents. Being born is not a poetic metaphor or a symbolic event, it's an undeniable reality. It's a life sentence with an unpredictable expiration date, guaranteed pain, and inevitable suffering. The most unsettling part? No one asked for your consent. There was no option to opt out. You were thrust into this world without guidance, safety nets, or an exit strategy. Since then, survival has been your only mission. But hold on, don't dismiss this just yet. This isn't a rant or a plea for sympathy. Instead, it's an invitation to peer into the cracks of reality. A reality we've all learned to ignore out of habit, fear, or comfort. Today, we're diving into what lies beneath every forced grin, every hollow accomplishment, and every automatic "I'm fine." We're confronting the suffering embedded in the very fabric of existence. And more importantly, we're questioning whether this life, this imposed existence, is truly worth it. What if everything you've experienced, the struggles, the fleeting joys, the milestones, is merely a thin veneer masking a deeper void? What if there's a truth behind human existence that we've chosen to overlook because it's too uncomfortable to confront? What if suffering isn't a glitch in the system but the system itself? This is where a controversial idea comes into play, one that's been dismissed, ridiculed, and even despised. It challenges the dominant narrative of our species, the belief that life is inherently good, that existence is a gift, and that enduring pain, aging, and loss is a privilege. But what if it's not? What if being born isn't a privilege at all but a hidden tragedy? What if the greatest mistake humanity makes is bringing new lives into the world without their consent? David Beneder articulated this with stark clarity. He argued that creating life is morally questionable because it inevitably subjects someone to unavoidable suffering. Even if that person experiences happiness, laughter, or love, they remain trapped in the essence of existence. Life hurts from beginning to end. Even moments of joy are tinged with the fear of losing them, and peace is shadowed by anxiety. And the most unsettling truth? No one escapes this reality. If existence is structured in such a way that suffering leaves deeper marks than pleasure, doesn't it feel like we've already lost from the start? Pain repeats itself, lingers, and resurfaces over and over again. Pleasure, on the other hand, fades quickly. A joyful moment passes, but wounds remain, and not just remain, they evolve. They turn into trauma, fear, avoidance. And even when you think you've found stability, the fear of losing it begins to eat away at you from within. Anxiety isn't born only from the pain you've already experienced, it also stems from the pain you know is inevitable. It's a cycle we can't escape. We've discussed this before: happiness is fleeting, but pain is guaranteed. This brings us to the end, the culmination of everything we've talked about. And here's what I want to make clear: understanding this reality isn't a punishment. On the contrary, it's liberating. When you stop romanticizing life, when you accept that suffering isn't an accident but a fundamental part of existence, something shifts. You free yourself from the pressure to find meaning in every little thing. You let go of the guilt that comes with not always being okay. You stop forcing yourself to chase happiness and instead become aware, truly aware. And awareness, though painful, is power. The power to break the cycle. The power to stop repeating what others have done out of habit or fear. The power to pause, observe, and question. If you've made it this far, you're likely already doing that. You're probably one of the few who refuse to live on autopilot, who reject the script handed to you at birth. And in a world like ours, that's a radical act. So thank you for staying, for listening, for daring to look at the truth. Now, I want to leave you with a challenge. If this text stirred even a single thought in you, I invite you to write this in the comments: life wasn't offered to me, it was imposed on me. That sentence isn't just a summary, it's a declaration, a mirror many are afraid to look into. And if you'd like to keep exploring these kinds of topics, keep questioning the uncomfortable truths others prefer to ignore, then stay connected. Here, you won't find easy answers, but you will find the right questions. And sometimes, that's all we need. I'll leave now, but not in the usual way. I'll leave as an idea you can't unthink. As a voice that echoes in your mind long after you've turned off your screen. As a thought that keeps you awake tonight. I'll leave, but I'll stay in the corner of your mind, where you store what you're most afraid to admit to yourself. See you in the next abyss.